If you have Labor Day plans, don't turn the channel. There is a chance that weather could interfere with your holiday. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Our chief meteorologist Tom Brannon also joins us off the top tonight. Tom, what are you tracking behind you there on the radar, and what should folks prepare for?
Well, we have a few feisty storms this afternoon over parts of western and southwestern Arkansas, and those storms have produced some very heavy rainfall as well as some wind gusts, so we're keeping a close eye on this. I'm not expecting any kind of major watch or outbreak tonight, but one or two of these could pulse up and could rain on your afternoon and evening plans. We have seen some activity close to Lake Dardanelle, also near Lake DeGray down around Clark County, but this is the area I'm keeping an eye on. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Montgomery and Polk counties through 545. And again, the main concern is going to be some pretty strong winds with these thunderstorms. They'll pulse up and down, and I think when the sun sets tonight, we'll lose a lot of the energy. We're stuck between one front to the south, one front to the north, and over the top of us, it's an upper level low pressure area. So we're going to keep rain chances in your forecast this week. I've bumped the percentages up for tomorrow. In the meantime, very warm and sticky day. We made it back to 90 degrees in Little Rock today. And there is that flare up of thunderstorms over western and west central Arkansas. Here's your hour by hour for tonight. Again, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. We might see one or two showers in central Arkansas. Primarily, though, they appear to be to the west of us. Sarah, more on your forecast for tomorrow in just a few moments.
All right, thank you, Tom. New tonight, an arrest has been made in an abduction case out of Memphis, but the victim is still missing. Eliza Fletcher disappeared last week after going for a jog. Memphis police say suspect 38-year-old Cleotha Abston has been charged with aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence.
Where everybody's desperately looking for, and the police are here on it, and you can see there's a lot of activity. So we're just, if you know anything or saw anything early this morning, we're just asking for you to come forward.
Investigators say that surveillance video shows Fletcher was attacked, then forced into an SUV. Police found the suspect along with that SUV, but say Abston isn't helping them with the investigation. Memphis police still consider Fletcher to be missing. As midterm elections inch closer, President Biden and former President Trump aren't holding back when addressing their supporters. Skylar Henry has the latest from Washington, D.C.
President Biden is spending the holiday weekend at Camp David ahead of a busy week on the road and amid an escalating war of words with former President Trump.
He's an enemy of the state. You want to know the truth?
At a rally in Pennsylvania last night, Trump delivered his first speech since the FBI search of his Mar-a-Lago estate. During the 2-hour address, he blasted President Biden, just a few days after the president called Republicans influenced by Trump a threat to democracy.
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people.
The back and forth between a sitting president and his predecessor appears to be getting more aggressive with each passing day.
The Mar-a-Lago raid was a desperate effort to distract from Joe Biden's record of misery and failure.
Trump also had harsh words last night about the FBI's search of his Florida home last month.
The FBI and the Justice Department have become vicious monsters.
But Trump's own former Attorney General, Bill Barr, has said Trump had no justification to possess the classified documents seized at his home.
I can't think of a legitimate reason why they could be taken out of the government, away from the government.
A federal judge is still weighing whether to appoint a special master to review the documents seized at Mar-a-Lago. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
If you have an Airbnb or a property like VRBO in Little Rock, you could soon face higher fees from the city. An ordinance on the city agenda states that new regulations on short-term properties will begin if the board votes to approve it. The city says at the beginning of the pandemic, there was an increase in short-term rental stays for less than 30 days. Now, the city wants to crack down on those properties, mainly through license and inspection fees. An annual inspection fee and renewal of the license will be between $100 and $500, but the city is offering a grace period for existing properties that need to get up to these standards. At the end of the day, city officials say it's about keeping the renters safe.
If something does happen, then they have those safety measures in place to at least help mitigate that, help them get out in an emergency, help them find the fire extinguishers and those types of scenarios.
The city is expected to hear the details of the issue on September 20th during a board meeting. And we'll have the full ordinance with all of the changes on our website at thv11.com. Getting married can be an exciting and expensive time for any couple. Now, a relatively new wedding trend is making some people think about how they can avoid breaking the bank for a ceremony. THV11's Frederick Price shows us how.
It's been my lifelong dream to be a wife.
Walking down the aisle is one of the most momentous events in one's life, but May Leakey Harvey is finding out it can be stressful, especially with inflation challenges.
There's a lot of venues around here, especially in Little Rock, that are charging $6, $7, maybe $8 grand.
Initially, she had hopes of pulling off a big and extravagant wedding.
I wanted to have maybe 200 to 300 people and have a lot of food.
Now, with the price of food, flowers, and even wedding dresses up, she has no option but to pick a more realistic plan for her special day.
I've had to kind of dial back on the amount of guests I'm bringing in. I had to choose a different venue that was actually out of town.
It's something similar to a micro wedding where the couples have a quick ceremony with a smaller guest list.
We've probably done half a dozen smaller events like that.
Carol Dupriest with the venue at Oakdale tells me inflation continues to have an impact on her business.
Getting flowers in from other states, other countries is increasing the prices tremendously.
And she says people are combating these higher than usual prices by organizing these micro weddings.
I do think it was a lot to do with inflation. They would have a small, intimate ceremony and reception, and then a year later, on their first anniversary, they would have the big party.
Although Harvey is still making tough decisions about how her wedding will turn out, she remains optimistic and has some advice for any brides-to-be.
Don't be discouraged. Just try to figure out what works best for you and, make it fun. Be happy.
In Little Rock, Frederick Price, THV 11 News.
And Dupree at the venue says that people are now scheduling their weddings further out. Instead of 6 to 9 months in advance, people are now looking at 12 to 18 months. This gives people a chance to put down a deposit a year ahead and pay the rest the next year. Central High School is remembering this day in history. 65 years ago, on the morning of September 4th, 1957, these images of the Little Rock Nine were captured on their way to the first day of school, an important part of Little Rock's history and the civil rights movement in the United States. The school now is a National Historic Site, and you can learn more about these images and how it impacted Central Arkansas and the world at the Central High School Museum and Visitor Center right across the street in Little Rock. Tonight, NASA's Artemis mission is delayed, and we have more information about what happened, what engineers need to fix, and how soon another launch window could open. But first, Tom.
Strong to severe thunderstorms occurring in western Arkansas. Pike County has been added to that severe thunderstorm warning. That until 6:15 tonight. I'll take you to radar coming up in just a few moments, and we'll discuss that thunderhead you see in the distance.